welcome to Diamond Delight Edibles. My name is Liz, if this is the first time you're joining, and for the rest of you guys, welcome back, hey! So today I'm going to show you how to make Pate A Choux. So those are eclairs and those puff pastries, and I'm going to show you how to do a Swan as well. So those little fancy desserts that you see in the bakery, you can now make these for yourself, or to really impress your company when they come over. Make up a tray of these and that will impress anyone, or for a dinner party, or for the holiday season soon to come. Shh. These will be a great thing to make. Now the awesome thing about Pate A Choux is you can use it for a sweet or a savory. You can make them up ahead of time, you can freeze them, you can make up the dough ahead of time, up to like 3 or 4 days ahead. So it's a really awesome recipe to do. It's really simple ingredients, it's more about technique, so you just really got to watch and pay attention. And that's about all for that. So as always, I'm going to jump into those ingredients, what we need to get, all going, and we'll put it all together. All right. All right. So you're going to notice a little bit of continuity issue. There you go. I think that's the issue. Anyway, the name. I forgot one major important ingredient when I first did the take on this, so I had to redo the ingredients here for the Pate A Choux. So that's why you're going to see it look a little different in those other frames in a few seconds. So for our Pate A Choux, you're going to need 1 1/4 cups of flour. So however you want to divide that up, if you want to use Canna flour, you absolutely can. So I've used 1 cup of regular flour to 1/4 cup of Canna flour. And to learn how to make Canna flour, I do have a video on that that you can check out. You're going to need 4 eggs at room temperature, cracked and ready to go. You're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of sugar. I just put these together. You're going to need a 1/2 cup of butter, cold and cut up. So I have used a 1/2 cup of regular butter minus 2 tablespoons that I then added in Canna butter. So this is the way, again, any way that you want to keep it plain, keep it plain. If you want to add Canna, again, you can mix with those amounts as long as you have a 1/2 cup of butter. It doesn't matter the proportions. Again, I say I keep those amounts small. I use it through various parts of the ingredients so that you do get a good dosing. However, I don't want I want a really good tasting product, and that's more important to me. So, as I said, 1/2 cup of butter, however you want to split that up. You're going to need a 1/2 cup of water, and a 1/2 cup of either 2% or whole milk is good. And that is everything that we need for our Pate A Choux, and I'll get in, the other ingredients are going to come. For our coulis, or our sweetened puree, that's all that really is. So for our coulis, you're going to use a cup of frozen berries. However you want, just strawberry, go for it. I'm using mixed berry because I'm just kind of a mixed berry myself. So I've got a cup of mixed berries here. And I've got 1 cup of sugar. So again, if you're making this plain, 1 cup of regular sugar. I've split it and I've done 1/2 cup of regular sugar to a 1/2 cup of Canna sugar. And we are going to need 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And that's for our coulis. For our whipped cream, you're going to need 1 cup of heavy cream. So that's that 35% cream. Whipping cream or heavy cream, depending on what part of the world you're from. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of sugar. Again, I did 1 teaspoon of Canna sugar, 1 teaspoon of regular sugar. And we're going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And that is our whipped cream. Now for our ganache, that'll be our, that yummy chocolate stuff on top. You're going to need 200 grams of chocolate, whatever dark chocolate. You prefer dark chocolate, but if you're not a dark chocolate fan, you can absolutely use milk chocolate. 200 grams. And you're going to use a tablespoon of Canna butter or regular butter, again, up to you. And a tablespoon of corn syrup. I just put them together for simplicity's sake. And a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. And that will be for our ganache. Next, I'm going to get into our equipment, and then we're going to get all this stuff put together, and you're going to see you can do it. Now, I can promise you guys can bake. If you're one of those people who says, I can't bake, it's not that you can't bake, it's that you can't really follow instructions. So baking really is about having the right proportions, following those directions. So when it says a cup or 1 1/4 cups, it means it, because it's all, baking is a science and it's all based on ratio. So, and then the other is the technique on how you put these ingredients together is very important. So just like a lot of us, I used to just read the ingredients and go, I can do it, and just go shove everything in a bowl and then wonder why it didn't turn out. So there is a specific reason why you do need to do things in order. So if you read everything through, or you actually follow all the ingredients, all the directions right through, I promise you, you can bake. All right, so let's get into that equipment and get this going. Okay, so the equipment that we are going to need, you're going to need 2 pots, a small saucepan for our coulis, and a larger saucepan for the Pate A Choux. You're going to need a stand mixer or a hand mixer will work. For the stand mixer, you're going to need the paddle and the whisk one. We're going to need a baking tray lined with parchment paper, a strainer, a hand blender or immersion stick, a wooden spoon. I'm pretty sure a spatula will work, but being like I said, baking in that is very precise. They say a wooden spoon for Pate A Choux, so I'm going to use a wooden spoon. But for everything else, I'm going to use a spatula. And that's it, I believe, for our equipment. Like I said, you know me, I always forget some piece of equipment. But I think I've got all the major stuff covered. Next, we'll get this going. So the first step we're going to do is the coulis, so we can get that cooked up and it can cool down. And then we'll go on to the Pate A Choux. While the Pate A Choux is baking, we will make our whipped cream and our ganache. All right, so I hope you're excited for all this awesome stuff. All right, let's get started. Alrighty, so to get our coulis going so that it can cool down, so when we put everything together, we're going to put our cup of berries into our little pot, our sugar, and our tablespoon of lemon juice. Mix that together, and we're going to cook this on a boil for about 2 minutes. So we just want to cook down the berries so that we can puree them nicely, and it'll strain, and you have all that beautiful, tasty berry syrup. It is so good. Doesn't that look good already? My berries are boiling here. Hope you can see that. So you just want to keep stirring so the sugar and the berries, nothing scorches or sticks to the bottom. So just keep stirring. You're going to do that. Like I said, you're going to cook that for about 2 minutes. And once you're done after 2 minutes, take it off the heat and get your immersion stick or blender stick ready. Alright, so my berries are done. I'm going to get my immersion stick. Be very, very careful though. You want, if it splashes you, it's very hot. Again, molten lava, sugar. Yeah, so be very careful because it does splash. So, yeah, do with care. See how it splatters? I kind of stand back. You can also do this in a food processor or a blender. So you're just going to continue blending it until it's completely smooth. And once you're smooth-ish, or you're not going to get all of it because it's going to pop. Some of it's going to pop up, obviously. That's why we strain it. So you're going to get your strainer and a small bowl or something else to put this into to cool down. I've got my bowl. I got my strainer. And carefully, not over the heat. Oops. Carefully pour that in. Yeah, I'm one to talk about careful, I know. Get all the yummy good stuff out. And you're just gonna work that through so we get all the yummy juice and berry pulp. And that's it. Then you're gonna put that off to the side or put it into the fridge to cool while we're getting the rest of everything made, because that needs to be, as I said, nice and cool when we add it to our whipped cream. Now with the pulp, if you don't want to waste that, you can let that cool as well and put it on some toast a little bit later. It's a very easy, simple jam. Alright, so to make our pate a choux, it's important that you have all of your ingredients measured out and ready to go. So into our pot, we're going to turn our heat on to medium-high, and we are going to add in our water and our milk, our butter, and our salt and our sugar, not the flour yet. We're going to stir this and bring this to a boil. Oh, one thing, if you're making the pate a choux for a savory, you can put like a whipped mousse, avocado mousse, or you can fill them with anything, with a nice crab meat salad or tuna, anything like that. If you want to use them as a savory, don't add in the sugar part. So you don't want to add in the sugar, just the salt. And it's really important to stir the whole time so that your milk does not scorch, the milk and butter doesn't scorch on the bottom. So our mixture here is starting to come to a boil. Alright, so now that we're at a boil here, so it's still boiling while we're stirring, we're going to dump in all of our flour. All at one time. And you're going to start stirring, get this stirred in. You got to be pretty quick. And then we're going to do this for about 2-3 minutes because we need to cook our dough. Going to cook the flour. You keep it moving. It's very important, keep it moving so that all the dough is getting cooked. You don't want to overcook it because it'll get too dry. So texture should be about like this for your pot. And we're going to dump it into our mixing bowl. Turn off your heat. Going to get your bowl on, get your paddle attachment. And we're going to mix this on low here until the steam comes out of it, till there's no more steam. Next you want to have your eggs ready, and we're going to add them one at a time, but we got to have this cool down, otherwise it's going to cook your eggs and you're going to get stringy stuff and it's going to ruin your pate a choux. And now we will. Now that the steam has come off, well, it's still a little hot. Still got some steam happening. Just gonna turn that off now and just let that cool. I just don't want to overmix it. But we want to wait for that to cool down a little bit before we start adding our eggs. So once all that steam is off. Let's see. Seem to stop steaming. Let's see if I start her up. Oh, we look good. All right, so now we're going to add in 1 egg at a time. And the reason that you add one egg at a time is it needs time to come together. If you add it all in at one time, the dough doesn't have time to bind that egg to it. And let's go our next one. And then you also want to just stop and scrape down your sides. That'll work. Get our other egg. It's number 3. Oh yeah, there was one thing I did forget to tell you, sorry. You need a piping bag. And I'll go over different tips that you can use for it. And egg number 4. So you're going to mix your dough until it's about this consistency here. So the way that you can check that your dough is good is to take it off the paddle and it holds on like that. It's not too runny, not too sticky. That is now the perfect choux. Now, if you want to store this, now you can keep this up to 3 days. So you can make this ahead of time, which is really nice if you're having a dinner party. You can do that, or a few hours ahead of time. This is, at this point, it's ready to bake. So I'm just going to give that a final little mix there to get all that stuff off the sides. And there we have it. Some perfect choux ready to pipe and bake. So I'm going to show you 3 different designs, ways that you can bake it. Your standard eclair, your puff pastry, and a swan. So I'm just going to go find my piping tip and we'll get right on that. Alright, so now we are going to get ready to pipe our choux. So an easy way that I do this, so you don't make a mess and stuff everywhere, I just get a taller glass and take my piping bag and just put it in there and put the top over like so and open that up. And then what that gives me is that's how much lip I definitely want to leave. This way I'm not going to overfill my bag. And you're going to dump some of your pastry into there. Now the tip that I used was number 199. I'll put a list there of the tips, and the different shapes that they will give you, and there's the numbers and sizes. So got some of that in there. Now a trick for you, because what makes puff pastries do their puffiness is the moisture. So that's why we do the heat and the steam and everything. Creates that moisture and locks it into the dough. So another trick you can do here is just get a pastry brush and some water and just wet down your parchment paper. Doesn't need to be a lot, just kind of do a little spread all over. And that'll add some extra moisture to your choux pastry while it's baking. So it doesn't dry out. So you get that really nice all over texture. Alrighty, so to pipe our choux, I'm going to put up a list of the different types that you can use and the shapes that they will give you. I don't have the right size tip right now, so I'm just using the coupler. That's about going to give me the widest that I've got right now. So I'm going to show you how you're going to pipe eclairs, the puff pastries, and how to make swans, hopefully. So for your eclairs, you want to make them about 3 inches long, and you just pipe out nice, and you want to keep it even, like so. So you're going to add your pressure and pipe out. Pressure and pull. So those would be the shapes for the eclairs. Now normally yours is not going to have a weird bumpy line. As I said, it's because I'm using the coupler. Not the best tip that I should be using, but I'm just trying to show you the technique and kind of just how you do it. Now for our puff pastries, what you would do is you just do a pressure out and pull up. And then you want to just even pressure as it goes, and you're going to pull up. And then what I could do is to a trick that I do for myself is I do a count. So if I don't have measurement circles to work on, then I just do like a 1 1000, 2 1000 count. So I go 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. Like that. And then you get them pretty even. Now, in order to make a swan, what you do is you're going to add pressure, and then you're going to back off and kind of pull it down into a bit of a tail here. Needs to be a little longer, sorry. So again, pressure so it's wider, and then you're going to come down. And then for the head, I'm actually going to throw on a number 6 piping tip, or a number 5. I don't have a 6. And for the head, again, you're going to add pressure as it comes out. And then, well, that's way too thin. I'm just going to add some more of the Choux Pate 3 to my bag here. I was going to try and do it with the coupler tip like the other. They may not be the most daintiest of swans. So the head, just a little bit of pressure, pull, and then we're going to make like a little, like an S shape, like so. Easier said than done. And then for the make the head, I just take the tip here and I just kind of pinch the nose. You get that blob out of here. So again, just a little bit of pressure, and then lighten up your pressure, come around, and you just make like this little S shape. And that's going to be our swan's heads. I'm going to make a couple more swan bodies and eclairs, and we'll get these in the oven and you can see how they bake up. Where to go? And next, oh sorry, I forgot one important thing. We have to do an egg wash. On these. So we're going to take one egg and a tablespoon of water. We're going to scramble that together and give these a little wash. Alright, so for our egg wash, you take one egg, whole egg, and scramble it, put it into a bowl, add a tablespoon of water, and scramble it well so that it's really well mixed. And then you want to give these guys a little bit of an egg wash bath. This is going to help hold and keep the moisture, give them a nice color and outside texture. And it's very important. And then once I finish getting these all under their little bath wash, their egg wash, I'm going to put them in the oven, like I said, preheated oven at 375. We're going to bake them at 375 for 20 minutes. At 20 minutes, you're going to turn the oven down to 350 and continue baking for another 10 to 15 minutes. So they're going to be brown, nice dip brown all over. I'm going to let you watch the camera watch them actually bake. All right, so they all got their nice little egg bath. And make sure my oven is preheated. And I'm going to pop these guys in and watch them go. Alright, so they've been going for 30 minutes. And I'm going to take them out of the oven. Look at those puppies. And I'm going to transfer them over to a cooling rack. If I could find some tongs. Sure, that could work. So you just want to transfer them over to a cooling rack. Care, you want to be gentle because you don't want to break them or collapse them while they're still very hot. So we're going to let those cool. And then we'll get our whipped cream that we made up and get them, we'll get them piped up, and I'll show you the different ways to decorate them, and we'll get our ganache made. All right, so now for our whipped cream, what we're going to do is, now a tip for your whipped cream, you want everything as cold as possible. So I put my bowl in about 20 minutes into the freezer along with the whippy thing. Yeah, this piece, you know. Yeah, put them in the freezer so they get nice and cold, and your cream's been in the fridge so it's nice and cold. The colder, the better. Now, so you're just going to add in your cream. And if you're using granulated sugar, then you're going to add it in now. If you're using powdered sugar, you can add it in afterwards. And we're going to set that on to start whipping up. You want to set it on to high speed. So we're going to start it off just to get it going up and gradually increase our speed. And we're going to whip this until we have nice stiff peaks. So we're going to let that go on the highest speed until, I said, it takes probably about 3 to 5 minutes, maybe a bit longer, we'll get those nice stiff peaks. So see how it's starting to come together here? I'm going to check it. Oh no, well yeah, see how well, I guess these can be considered stiff. I'd go just a little bit stiffer. These are, yeah, we're almost at stiff peak. There. Now it's very important, you do not want to whip too long because you will end up making butter, and you don't want to do that. So we're good here. So nice stiff peaks. There we go, see? Okay, so now at this point we can fold in our coulis. So I'm just going to pour in, I don't know, about that much, but it looks about 1/4 cup. And you just want to fold this into your cream. You don't want to beat it or be too harsh. And you're also going to add in your vanilla. You can give her a little taste. Make sure it's at the taste that you like. If you want a little bit more, you can add a little bit more coulis. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's so good. Oh my God. All right, so now we're going to get this into our piping bags and get these decorated. Ready for our ganache. What we're going to do, you can do this on the stovetop or you can do it in the microwave. I'm going to do it in the microwave. Now, I don't have 200 grams of chocolate, so I've halved my my portions down. So I've gone with 100 grams, 1/4 cup, 2 teaspoons of Canna butter, and 2 teaspoons of corn syrup. So I said I've just halved down everything because I didn't have enough chocolate and didn't realize it in time. So the first thing, you want to do is to put your cream, your butter, and corn syrup together. And then just get that stirred in there. And I'm going to microwave this for about 25 seconds. Now, if you're doing the full batch, the half cup, you can microwave it for about 45 seconds. If it needs to be hotter, a little bit hotter, do it at 10-second intervals at a time. You want it to just simmer. Just as it's going to begin to simmer, you don't want it boiling because it'll be too hot for your chocolate and you'll scorch your chocolate. And then you want to make sure to break your chocolate up into to small pieces, or if you've got block, you can cut it up. I'm just going to break these into little vegetable pieces. And one thing is you want to make sure is never get water into your chocolate. Water and chocolate are mortal enemies. Water will seize your chocolate. Now, if that does happen, not all is lost. You can add some coconut oil in there to thin it back out and hopefully bring it back to life there. My butter and my milk, my cream, my heavy cream and corn syrup are all nice and hot. I'm going to put my chocolate in, and I'm just going to cover it. If I can find my spatula again. I'm just going to cover it with the warm cream and butter, and give the chocolate a minute or so here to just melt on its own here. And then we're going to start mixing and emulsifying our ganache. All right, so then once your chocolate is all starting to melt, you're going to start to stir your chocolate and cream mixture together. And you're going to stir it from the center like so, and you're going to do it vigorously. Actually using a whisk is better so that you can actually get it all emulsified, or you can use your hand blender as well. Whisk this all together until it's all completely blended and all our chocolate is all melted. You see how shiny that gets? Look how pretty that is. Look how easy that is. So I said you just need time, patience, follow directions, and you can absolutely do any of these recipes. All right, so I'm just going to let that sit aside until we are ready to decorate our eclairs and our puffs. All right, so our cream puff, or our Pate A Choux is all nice and cool. Now these ones, my eclairs, I should have let this go a little bit longer. No, if you are baking these in different sizes, I highly recommend to do them in separate batches. So you want to keep all the same sizes to the same batch. That way we don't have a problem with cooking temperatures where the puffs, these guys are perfect. These guys are a little bit undercooked. So we'll see what happens here. Now there's two ways that you can fill your puff pastries here. You can use a serrated edge and just cut them open gently. And you want to leave the little top partly attached, or you can take it right off. That's totally up to you. And then see, you've got the space in here that holds your cream. Again, these could have been a little bit puffier. So I'm just going to fill that up with some cream. Look at that. And I'm using a number 199 tip on that. And I'm just going to put that on and let that set there for a minute. Now the other way that I'm going to show you the other way in a minute because I'd have to switch tips. So for our eclair here, I'm going to take the smaller one because this one looks like it's done. It's the same thing. You just want to make a nice cut in the middle and go all the way around. So I want to be very careful. Ooh, look, that one's nice. See the cavities? And again, you're just going to fill this puppy up and put its little head back on, little top back on. And there you go. Woo-hoo-hoo. And for our swan, so how to make a swan is you take this of that shape body that we made there and you cut it in half first. And then the top piece, you're going to carefully cut down the middle. Those are going to be its little wings. So we fill up our base body here with good generous cream. And then we'll take our little wing and you just set her in like that. Like so. Oop, actually I want to go the other way, sorry. Doing things backwards, a little tricky sometimes. You just want to stick those in there, into your cream. And then we're going to attach our head. Now my head's a little bit big, so I'm going to add some more cream here to hold the head on. And then you can just finish filling that up. Oh, it looks so cute. Okay, so now I said the other way that you can fill your, if you don't want to cut them and you want to keep them in a nice full, take one of these long bamboo skewers and you make a hole into the bottom. Kind of dig a hole. So you're going, but you don't want to go all the way through. You just want to create a nice cavity. And you want to use a number 4 or 5 tip, one that you can fit into the end of that hole nicely and fill it up. so good. So then you would just stick it in and you would just press down, and you're going to feel the weight of your cream puff filling up. And it's going to start coming out the bottom there. And you're good. That should be a nice full puff, and you can feel it. You can feel the weight of it. Now you can just scoop that off, and there you go. You have a nice intact cream puff. Holy mackerel, it's been a long day. So that, oh, sorry, now we're going to show you the ganache. Oops. Let me get rid of that. Now, again, you've got a couple of ways that you can do this. You can straight dip them, which I probably would have done the top first before I did the cream, not thinking. You just dunk her in, give it a nice little even pressure. And look at that sweetness. So, let's see what this eclair is going to do. So I can show you the other way of decorating. Oh, it's not bad at all. I'm just going to get some cream into there. And then I'm just going to gently dunk this into my ganache. I'm so excited. And then for if you want decoration, oh, for your little guys, same thing. Just pop them in. And there you have it. And you let these two, you can put them in the fridge for the ganache to set. It'll firm, and it sets up nice and firm, but not too firm. And then I'm going to show you the piping method. Just get your piping bag. I always use a cup or something. Just going to add a little bit into our bag here. Give her a twist. And I'm just going to cut the end. I want a little decent drip, so I'm going to cut about there or so. And you can just do it this way. Just drizzle it on. I'll just use the back of a knife. Or if you have an offset, you can use that. And just move that over. Like so. And there you have it. Our awesome eclairs. Ooh, that's not in picture. Our eclairs. Oh, our Swan, I wanted to show you something quick. Is it for an extra little decoration for those? You can just use some icing sugar and put it in a little strainer, and you can just lightly make your Swan white-ish. Or you can add it to your puffs instead. If you don't want to add the chocolate, you can just do that. Or you can do the chocolate and the powdered sugar. And there you have it. I hope you enjoy these guys. Oops! The Swan took a header. Ah! There we go. We'll fix you. We can fix you. Anyway, you gotta know what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to show that a little better for you. So there's all our guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll be back to say goodbye. Alright guys, that was my demonstration there on how to do Pate A Choux ganache with your own whipped cream and coulis. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and if you have any questions at all, as always, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments. And I do love all your awesome comments that you guys leave me. You guys are amazing. You just, you really make me want to do this more and more. I really appreciate it. So, as always, you have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you so much, and many more recipes to come. Cheers!